Hello, everyone. Welcome to Save News TV. We are here today with Carmina Cox, bringing some information that um, we didn't have before. But you all know we always bring information in. So, Carmina, I know you got some information. Bring it into us, honey.
Oh, hey, Save News audience. How's everyone today? We got to talk. We need to bring this out into awareness and just be another voice in the community, adding our voices to the world, actually, at this point. Talking about the Shanquella Robinson situation. It has just blown my complete mind in regards to news. I don't believe that I've ever just followed like eat wake up every minute. I have been following it ever since that it's come out, and even to the point I'm questioning myself like, are you serious, Carmina? But it has just really intrigued me, and also due to the fact that I personally know someone, which I won't name, know someone that is affiliated with the case or with the situation, has even um, intrigued me even more. And so when I found out about Shanquella Robinson, it was just to the point like, how did this young lady go to a vacation with friends,
Friends, yeah.
friends, and end up dead within 24 hours? And I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that before we even seen what we now know as the video, it was already suspicion surrounding it, because the mom herself in the first interview said, I don't believe that's how my daughter died.
Mm-hmm.
I never believed that's how my daughter died. And so at that point, when she was speaking at first, it was what they were saying versus what the autopsy was saying. There was no video. She just knew what she said because every one of them gave different accounts. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
mom said. She said, I didn't believe them anyway. She said, because every last one of them gave different accounts. And when her so called best friend Khalil showed up to the house to give her his condolences, he was in the realm of trying to convince her, so sorry, this alcohol poisoning. I mean, he was in her face telling her this narrative. And I don't think it was just one day. I believe it was one day he went, and then another time him and another two of uh the group went over there and was saying the same thing about this alcohol poisoning. And so, unbeknownst to them, of course, then the autopsy comes, and it's not alcohol poisoning. It's a broken spine and a broken neck.
Right.
What they call,
Severed. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like a internal decapitation, basically,
Yes.
is what it was, axillization or whatever. And so at that point, when that autopsy came out, it was gonna be bad. And then when that video came out, that's when all of uh the group, they pretty much went into deep hiding. Like nobody we so-called hiding. Like AZ said, somebody know where they are.
Right. And I'm gonna tell you honest and truthfully, I did not watch the video. Normally we follow certain stories and we would have followed this, but I didn't. It was just like I could not. It was so sad. And I could not watch that video. I knew in my spirit that it was something
Ooh, child.
beyond humanistic, you
It
know.
is. It's demonic. It's demonic.
Yes.
It's demonic.
And that, she wouldn't fight back. So I knew it had to be bad.
Yeah, and because I even thought about a time in my life where I wouldn't have fought back,
Right.
and I could imagine if it were me, and I will fight, have fought in my day, but if I felt like I was overpowered, or if I was taken off guard,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would even try to fight. Like if I'm like, these people gonna get me anyway. But
Well,
she's
I think the reason why maybe, well, I don't know, but maybe the reason why she didn't fight back was because the rest of her friends was sitting there watching. You know,
yeah,
that's odd because then she probably would have thought that they all would jump her if she fought back. I don't
that
know.
part.
I don't know.
And yeah,
I
that's yeah, that's how I feel too. Because she, when the voice said, "Quella, aren't you gonna at least fight back?" I said, "What kind of spirit is
is
this?
that why didn't you break it up?
Why
Right.
would you?" Once she said no, that would have been my cue to say, "Hey, no, we're not doing this."
Right. Exactly.
She said no, and at that point, I won't raised by the apes, so I don't know how these people were raised, but
Yeah.
in the way we were raised, and like I said before to you offline, we don't know what really happened. Number one, because we weren't there, and
Exactly.
any evidence that has been obtained that maybe the FBI has, we probably will never see because
Oh,
they
you'll see some of it, but you won't see all of it.
right. So because that is the name of the game, they're going to release enough to get people to talking, but the real evidence will come out if they ever go to court. So we don't all we know is that little, I don't know how many seconds of clip, but that little seconds of clip was enough. It like tore my heart up because that
Mm-hmm.
let us know, that let the world know that there was foul play and that there will be no reason why I'm on vacation and we need to fight. That in that
Right.
manner, in that I don't care what happened. And that's why we really, really, as a body of believers, you guys, we got to get right because this is the younger generation. This is how they get down. Okay.
Yeah.
And we can't say, oh, it's them, it's the white people, it's that. No, this right here was us.
Right.
This was us.
And it was. It was. And they are going to, extradite a suspect. I'm imagining it's the one that initially, that was beating her. And the Mexican government want to charge the person with femicide.
Mm.
Um and that is intentionally, it's like a hate crime because she is a female.
Wow.
And so that's the charges that Mexico is looking to charge them, the ones with. And they also stated that they issued a arrest warrant, and Baja California Surge did not publicly name the suspect. That's, according to the Associated Press,
Mm-hmm.
but did share, of course, that they're in contact with diplomats and Mexican federal prosecutors. One thing is, like we were discussing, is that I think that they might have thought that since they committed the crime in Mexico, that they could not be charged in the United States.
Right.
And they can be charged in the United States. And the FBI is investigating, but the Mexico wants to, but they would have to get extradition approval from the FBI. And I think the reason also the FBI is investigating. So if Mexico's case is not as strong, they're not going to extradite and they probably prosecute
In
here.
America.
And this
Right.
is a picture. It's beautiful, beautiful
Beautiful
young,
girl. Mm-hmm.
beautiful. I tell you. And so, like it says, her death is being treated as a femicide, the act of killing a woman based on her gender.
Mm.
So this now, because
I
one
don't
thing,
understand that. I don't understand that because
well, one thing
uh,
also is that the other way that they would have charged her would have been the under the tourist thing, and it was a accident type thing. And I think it only the penalty is only in Mexico, I think it's 8 or 12 years. But under the being treated as a femicide, then it is there's the penalty is more severe. Um, they said they have a court order. It stated it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. Now, I'm sure that La Rosa Anaya
Mhm.
um, is one of the investigators for the Mexican police.
Right.
And he's a prosecutor. So he's speaking on some information that we don't have. And
Mm.
he stated that it wasn't a quarrel, but
Uh,
instead a direct aggression. It's
Wow.
about two Americans, the victim and the culprit.
Mm.
And
Wow.
the mother said that it feels good that someone is finally being held accountable and arrested.
My
So
God.
yes, yes, yes. So I'm glad that social media really picked up on this story,
Yeah.
because if it wasn't for social media and the demand, like I was sharing, over the holidays, we were talking about um the way media spins things, but
Hmm.
it's people with boots on the ground and social media that is really getting these stories out, because I don't believe that they would have went after um with such vigilance if
You're
there
right.
hadn't been such an uproar on social media. Now,
Yeah.
you stated that you knew one of the parties that was on that trip. Could you
Right.
elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. So like I was saying before offline that once I seen it like get a lot of social media behind it, and I started paying attention to the actual photos of the group,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the picture of the one girl, and I said, "Oh my gosh." I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" So I looked up the name on social media. I tried to reach out to the mom of the individual, but at that time everybody was off social media. Her mom I couldn't get up with. Of course, her page was down, which in her adult life I'm not communicating with her anyway. But literally been knowing her um, since she was a small child. Been knowing her mom. We have a mutual godmom, and
Right.
I was just literally flabbergasted. And then when I think another thing was how the name was spelled, and a lot of different things, and I was like, I think so. So I did reach out, and I did want to make sure that that was who I thought it was. So I could be praying more specifically, and so I did reach out, and then it was kind of like the pushback that I got immediately was, just don't believe everything you hear and see, and blah 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 blah. Just pray and just a regular like blanket statement, which I felt, me, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions. You know me, Az, so you know that in any circumstance, I don't care who it is, I'm going to ask Holy Spirit to reveal. So I felt a little bit taken aback by don't believe everything you hear and see,
Well, like
because
I
that wasn't on my mind. That wasn't the reason why I asked. The reason why I asked is because it was someone that I knew personally. And I think that anyone, if there is a national, international situation going on and it's someone it does ring closer to your heart. You know what I'm saying? It was really from a point of genuine concern, not nosiness. So yeah. But yeah, so my response to that was, hey, I'm sad for the woman that died and her family. My prayer is that God is a just God. Let truth be revealed.
yes.
That's my blanket prayer. I don't care who it is. Mama, daddy, sister, brother. I'm gonna pray that because God is a just God. If I
Yes,
did something,
and what they did to her was wrong.
yeah, and they don't have any. They're well, I don't know who they're talking to, but what it looks like from what we can see is that they have not been forthcoming. Because if
Right.
they had been forthcoming, it would not be this massive push over the world to bring justice for Shanquella. All they had, I understand being scared. I've been scared.
Yeah, but you
Uh,
haven't,
yeah, I haven't killed, I haven't participated in
yeah,
on
that's
her.
a different kind of scared.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
been scared. My scare be different though. It'd be like it's different because I work in the medical field and it's a whole different scared if you know with patients. But at any given moment where I feel pushed against the wall, for me, I have a God that I can call on. I'm gonna call on, and God is always gonna lead you towards truth. So at some point, you're gonna have to be like, I gotta tell the truth. And
Right.
so I would hope and pray, even though all the things we don't know, things that haven't been revealed to us, that somebody in that group have spoken out and have been
Well,
talking. Because I just believe somebody is talking in that group.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't know.
And the newest information is that there's a FaceTime video that came out, excuse me, that she FaceTimed the day before. And so I mean, it just astonished me that people would even, going back to the original video, even film that. I mean, number one, I would break this fight up. Number two, I would definitely wouldn't be filming this,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But then again, it's good that they did because it gave a record. And I'm glad that the person released the
I'm
video.
glad they did. I'm glad they did. And it's another lady. I don't think she's related to Shanquella, but she was just giving an example of, how to, be more discerning of people that you deal with, especially travel with to other countries. But she was just saying that telling the FBI, which I'm sure they know, but anybody, if you take a picture on an iPhone, you cannot get away with it because it locates where you took the picture at, what time you took the picture at. You can ping it on the map and it will show exactly where you are or were. And if you sent that picture to someone or that video to someone, even if you
Hmm.
erase it from your phone, it still shows up on their phone where the picture was taken and what time and date. Everything is timestamped in this world. Um, the way that the technology is set up, ain't nobody really doing nothing in secret. You really can't hide. I mean, you're in media that
Yes,
everything is recorded, even when you think it's not being recorded.
exactly.
You can be in a
Exactly.
parking lot at Food Line and somebody see you. I mean, so just
Yeah,
this,
CTVs
yeah,
and private parties, recording. You just don't know.
yeah, it's everywhere.
There is no such thing as privacy anymore.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
I said, and there's so much information that's come out. Some true, some untrue, and so we're definitely going to follow this and find out exactly how it's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see whether the FBI allow the extradition, and if they do, then that means that Mexico has a very strong case
Right.
against whom they're looking to extradite. And I really hope that whoever, everybody be held accountable. They're also looking at the possibility of everyone that was in that room, because really you sat there and did nothing.
Yeah.
And so what do they call that? Guilt by association.
Right.
Now I don't, as far as Mexico is concerned, I don't know how their laws are with that, but as far as the United States, there is a such thing as guilt by association.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the report stated that the when the medical for Dr. Kane, that they would not allow, because he wanted to take the medical doctor wanted to take her to the hospital. They
Right.
would not allow her to be taken to the hospital. So there's that also. So there's quite a bit of information that is, coming out slowly regarding this particular issue.
Right.
So,
And that's the thing what I've noticed, and this really on the better side of it is what would really happen if we came together. What problems could we solve in our community if we actually corral together like we have for Shanquella? If, like you said, if this had not went viral,
right.
know that it would have never hit Gail King, because it was on Gail King. The daddy was on that show this morning. It would have never hit that type of media presence if our community had not say her name, say Shanquella Robinson. And I literally took it to heart because I'm like, oh yeah, this I'm not gonna let this rest, even though I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not gonna let it rest. Because if it had been, we know the story, if it had been a white girl or somebody like Petito, her situation was like, boom, now she got a movie. There's a movie. And so I love the fact that that part about social media, that it was not going to let the mainstream rest sleep on Shanquella.
Yes, and that's a wonderful thing. I'm glad that people stood up and definitely was not going to let it rest, refused to let it rest.
Yeah.
And you know, so it's like I said, we did not cover, like I said, I purposely did not cover this because it was so sad. It just, my heart was just so sad um regarding this. But when you contacted me and we talked about it, and the you knowing one of the members of that party that was over there, I felt it was important that we definitely talk about it today. And like I said, my prayers go out to the family, and that justice, I pray for justice. Not
Justice.
just the truth, not just the truth be revealed. Truth is
Justice.
being revealed. I'm praying for justice for
Glory.
Shaquilla. And
Amen.
legal justice. Yeah,
Amen.
that's my prayer.
Yes,
So
Lord.
now, go ahead.
No, I was just in agreement with that. I'm in agreement.
Yes, yes, because she definitely, nobody deserved that.
No, no,
So
no.
also we you just the I know these people thing.
I'm on the
So let's
map.
talk about the Walmart incident that happened in Virginia. And I was like, okay, talk about it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
someone with that.
I do. So I was sharing with AZ that I have a group of friends, sisters. We have a sister group. It's just five of us. However, we have been knowing each other since we were in our 20s when we were in church together in Germany. So a long time. For God's own reasons, He reconnected us like right around. Well, I've been in contact with some of them this whole time, but then some of them, like right around before the pandemic, we were reunited, and we just been in fellowship, via text, group messaging, stuff like that. But we communicate often. We pray in our group often. And so last week, the night of the shooting at Walmart, I got a text. I was at work, and one of my sisters said, "Y'all, please pray. My daughter was just involved in a mass shooter incident at work." So in between work, I'm trying to keep up with the text messages, and I was so shook because
Mm,
this was like live. It wasn't like we heard it the next day. This was
right.
her daughter got to work. The shift started at 10. The text I got came in at 10:37. So
Mm.
I'm
That
getting
was
real
quick.
time, Right. So literally, I'm getting real time accounts of what is going on with the situation, and especially in regards to her daughter. And they have not talking to. I haven't seen them on any social media platform or news media, um, because for whatever reasons they got going on, they have not spoken to the media. However, um, I do know that uh, the bullet missed her, but hit the person next to her.
Mm.
I do know
Talk about
that.
a hedge of protection, but go ahead.
Yes, sir. And now we've been talking about that too in our prayer group. Because like I told you before, like there was a lot of, when there's a tragic situation and you survive, what is there? It's like a survivor's guilt. It's an actual thing.
Yeah, survivor's guilt, then
Survivor's guilt.
PTSD.
Right. So all of these things are happening to them, and we are as sisterhood, walking her through it, giving words of encouragement, because definitely there is a survivor's guilt component to it, and the PTSD is very strong, and what I do know is that this supervisor that opened fire on them was a troubled employee, in the fact that he was under investigation a lot, and there were a lot of complaints against him. He was kind of like an outlier or outcast, not received well by many.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, I think he wrote a note, and the note
Yes.
that he wrote was in that manner, like, I want you to feel or to die in the same manner that I'm going to die. So he already knew he was going to kill himself, but he wanted to take some people with him, the people that he felt ridicule him, or, you know, cast him off to the side or whatever. But this particular young lady was able to escape, and apparently must have just fled for her life, to the point where I just want to go somewhere away from here. And
Yes.
someone actually found her. A good Samaritan found her, and was like brought her back into reality, because you're out, your mind just go out. And a good Samaritan found her and brought her back, and was able to bring her to safety. And it's just been a journey since last week with my sister, and of course my sister also is going through a lot of emotions, trying
Mm-hmm.
to be there for her daughter. So it's just like a roller coaster, because you know I for me, my question is like, why? You know me, I'm very inquisitive in the spirit. Okay, Lord, why is everything all of a sudden hitting me? Because I have some personal things going on. Why
Mm-hmm.
is these things happening to me so directly? And I just do believe, like I was sharing with you, the text I got from my other sister, that it's a wake up call, and it's urging us believers to prepare a way for the Lord, because we are not going to be able to control these things, because this is a prophetic. This is happening. It's going to happen. This is the beginning. It's going to get worse. And are we prepared? Am I prepared emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually? I said physically, because we were talking about that. There is also a physical component to being battle ready, spiritually battle ready. And so it's
Right.
like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
But God is just like, okay, you need to check all the bases, because these things are hitting you right here close to home. And and are you ready to, in season and out of season? Are you ready to give comfort? Are you ready to minister? Are you ready to put your life on the line for Christ? And basically, like we were sharing with my sister, that when she was like having that little guilt part, I said, baby, you done been praying all these years. I said, those prayers that you've been praying over your daughter was collected in a bowl, and when it was her time, that bowl was poured out in her behalf, in the realm of a protection. Every
Right.
time I said that, those collections a prayer. You gave God access to the world, to this realm on behalf of your daughter. So that's not your fault that somebody else didn't have that, but it's actually just a part of your spiritual heritage, that because you have a fellowship with God, that and you have spoken these prayers that open up access on behalf of your child.
Right.
And so it's not a guilt. It's just like we need to help others to do the same.
Right. And we
We
need
need
to
to help
pray
others.
against whatever's going on in this earth realm because like you were saying, he left a note. So he knew what, his plan was.
Uh-huh.
And so you definitely, when you leave a note and you just buy the gun the same, right before, so you had plans. And he was saying, well, in his note, I think he was saying, yeah, it says in his notes, he says, sorry everyone, I did not plan this. uh I promise things just fell in place like I was led by the Satan. Andre Bing wrote in his note that was on his phone. So
Jesus.
how do you, he is already acknowledging the fact that um I'm glad he didn't blame Jesus, told him to go kill her. At least he knew it was Satan.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God knows.
And so
Whew.
there's something going on in the atmosphere that's causing these things. So we really have to be strategic in our prayers regarding this, because how do you pick up a gun right before? But see, the thing of it is, he said he didn't plan it. But it's not like you can just walk in a store and buy a gun. You got to fill out the
That
application.
part.
There's a process here. So he might not have written it that day, but I mean, planned it on that day, but he had planned it. You see
For
what I'm
sure.
saying?
For sure.
Yeah, it was a plan. And
Mm.
at least he recognized that this was not inspired by God. It's inspired by Satan. And this is definitely a demonic type thing that is,
Woo, Father.
going on here.
Because if you lend your member, it's whatever you lend your members to, which has
Right,
control. And so if you have not, a lot of our culture have been in contact with Christ at some point. It is not as if this is like you never heard of Jesus Christ. So I know for sure, in both situations, that the person that I know in the Shanquella case and the person that I know in this case, they have been exposed to God in a major way. So this young
right,
man obviously knows God because he knows Satan. You
right,
can't know about Satan without knowing about God. And so
exactly,
and so he chose to listen to Satan.
right,
He have lent his members to Satan. And the thing about it is we need to start being in the spirit, because even though this man may have been troubled, I wonder if anyone ever, like, say, we got human resources, but a lot of time human resource departments, they just going by a written manual. They don't even have policies in place, a lot of, to deal with people like him. The man was troubled. He troubled everybody, according to these reports. Like, he was a known. So what, and just like all this gun violence, people see this stuff coming, but they end up still having all these deaths. So who is watching for this? Who is, if reports was already in on this man, how was he able to still come back in there?
yeah. But the thing of it is, when you talk about human resources and you talk about employers, there are laws in place. There's certain things in place that you can't just, who just because, like he said in his note, that he was harassed and he was pushed to the brink by a perception in his
The
phone,
percep-
that his phone was hacked. See, that this is in his mind. First of all, nobody know what's in his mind. And secondly, there are laws in place that you just can't go harass, or um discipline an employee because you think something. That's when, if someone is suspect, but then, there's a fine line. You need to, because everybody that's suspect or have problems at work aren't going to go in there shooting up the place. But
Right.
then they need to turn, if they're concerned, then they need to turn it over to the authorities so that they can possibly open an investigation, look into some of the things that's not privy to them, and they can go beyond the scope of the law that govern
The workplace.
businesses.
Right, right, right. Because
Yes.
I mean, because I've been in situations, and I have used certain verbiage at workplaces and say that person is creating a hostile work environment. And I remember as recent as in probably a year or so ago, I made a complaint on an employee in North Carolina, and I said to the manager, I said, I should not feel like I need to be escorted to my car when I get off. And I said, this person has created an environment that is not safe.
Right.
And so it's I would say to people who may be in that situation, when you make a complaint, make sure that you use certain verbiage
Right.
that
And
will alarm. Yeah, document.
document. Write it down. And if you feel physical threat that this person could possibly harm you, then you need to reach out to authorities. Forget, they might be
Right,
you know what I'm saying? But,
right.
you need to reach out. And this is not, but it's not their responsibility to think try to think what's in somebody's brain that's troubled, because this man was clearly troubled.
Clearly troubled. And I remember even in my case, and I wasn't really scared. I was just trying to make a point. But I was trying to bring awareness to the leadership. But right after I said that, they started putting posts up around the time clocks saying that work violence is also can be between employee, in the midst of departments. And it was like, if you ever feel threatened, call security. Like that was never a thing. But we need to know that, like you said, if you made a complaint to the manager, if you've done all that you can do within that workplace, then like you said, call the authority, the
Well,
police.
I'm not gonna just, I mean, if I feel threatened, I'm not gonna wait until human resources do all they can do. I mean,
Right,
I'm gonna call the authorities.
right, right,
it
right,
is
right.
what it is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
if
Well, the
you
thing
feel
about
like
it,
your life is in danger.
right? But the thing about it, people may not know that they can do that, but now they know they can. They listen to this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, that's one thing that's going on. And other things in the news, everybody, I'm telling you, these mass things are just it's crazy. But we have the shooter at Tops Buffalo Supermarket. He pled guilty today.
Wow.
Payton Gendron, I'm pronouncing his name wrong. And he's to 15 counts, where he was charged with carrying out racially motivated attacks that killed 10 people at Tops Market. And
Mm.
we all remember this
In New York.
happening, which was sad. And he was charged, and he pled guilty for carrying out the massacre. And authorities called it a racially motivated attack fueled by bigoted ideology. Um, Said that he was specifically seeking to kill Black people when he opened fire at Tops Friendly Market on May 14th.
Mm.
And the investigators think that the attacker, who is now 19, posted a rambling racist scream online before shooting, declaring himself a white supremacist and
Wow.
pledging to kill Black people. Now, he
Wow.
appeared in the courtroom today and pled guilty. And Erie County District Attorney John Flynn called the outcry a swift justice. This again is another example of, if it wasn't for social media, if it wasn't for people
Mm-hmm.
crying out, "We want justice." This probably wouldn't have justice wouldn't have happened so swiftly.
You're right.
But again, he pled guilty. But there's always, in order to plead guilty, you got to get to the courtroom. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times they'll delay and delay and delay and delay of the court proceedings. And so I'm glad that they moved this case forward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also one of the charges was domestic terror, which carries a mandatory life sentence. But New York State does not have a death penalty. We look at that's also similar to the case with Daryl Brooks. The
Yeah.
Waukesha
Yeah.
um, parade gentleman that ran through the crowd. There's no death penalty. So the most that he's going to get is life. So he, like I said, he pled
Did you follow
guilty.
that court case? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That,
which one? You talking about Daryl Brooks?
that was a
Yes, I
debacle.
followed that case. I did not stream it. I should have streamed it.
Woo!
But that case, I'm telling you, because he was out there, baby. I mean, for
Woo!
real. I, I
I
I have to
followed
applaud
that.
that judge, baby, because honey,
He
that
is
judge had the
amazing.
patience of Job. You hear me,
I would have
girl?
lost my robe.
Girl. But anyway, yeah. So we're glad that justice was served swiftly in this particular case. And so we're gonna hopefully move on to sentencing. And because I was really, I was like, I'm gonna string this case. But honey, he's already like, I plead guilty. And so the most that I'll be doing live streaming with that is when they get ready to sentence him. So let's see how long it takes. We know that, like I said, it's mandatory for him to get, because of the domestic terror charge,
Right.
carries a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. So, and then you have 10 deaths. So we're going to see how, the judge charge him on that. So, yes, yes, yes. So, anyway,
Wow.
also,
Wow.
girl, now, go ahead.
I'm just done. Like you said, this is overkill at this point. Like literally, no pun intended. I think they said 610 mass shootings this year.
Wow.
You might want to fact check me, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it's
I need to, I don't have that. I'll have to,
I'm pretty
uh,
sure I've seen it in multiple places, 610 mass shootings in 2022.
right. And see, the thing of it is, a lot of times people are crying gun control, gun control. It has nothing to do with guns. This is mental health crisis in
Come on,
America.
come on,
It is a mental health crisis in America.
come on.
And unless, because if they don't shoot, just like with Daryl Brooks, what do he do?
Run a
He
car
used
through
his
a
car.
parade.
SUV. He just mowed down. How do you drive? I mean, oh my gosh!
You're
When
out of
I was
your
watching the
mind.
trial, I mean, I really, and I thank God that the streaming, the news outlet that was streaming it didn't play the graphic. You could just
Right.
hear when they played the audio. You could hear the bodies being just
Yeah.
boom. I mean, you have to, that's why I said it's not just gun control, because you have
Mental
people that
health.
will use knives, they'll use cars, they'll use whatever to take a group of people out, because there's a
And he
mental
was
health
out of his mind.
crisis.
Yeah, he literally was out of his mind because he was trying to defend himself in a way to say, so could you see who I was? Could you see who it was in the vehicle? I
Right.
mean, I was like, this guy's weird. This guy's crazy. Like really crazy.
I'm telling you, I felt for the families, the people that had to testify and him cross-examining them. That was heartbreaking.
Very much so. Very much
That was
so.
heartbreaking. But again, like I said, I am so glad that so I'll be definitely following up on the sentencing of the tops shooter. And okay, so then we talked about everything except for one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I didn't tell you this. We got to talk about the Balenciaga.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay, are you now?
Get me up to speed. Are we talking about Kanye West?
No, we're not talking about Kanye. We're talking about them and their ad campaign, um, um, glorifying, promoting Child P. They
Oh,
use. Did you hear about that?
no, I didn't, but I'll sure listen.
Okay.
I've been
Well,
following the. I've been more so following the Tiffany Haddish and other guy situation,
right.
and
But this
that's in that realm too.
right, but they had a whole ad campaign with children. Let me see if I can pull it. Cause see, when you got that kind of money and there's no stars coming out because they get in their bag, Kim Kardashian, well, Kanye condemned them and said, this is Hollywood, ain't nobody coming out. Kim came out with these statements that were not statements. In other words, I'm going to continue to get my bag,
Are
but
you serious?
you know what I'm saying? Because it really is what it is. Yeah,
Wow.
because let me see if I can pull this up. Radar Online have it that she was flaunting her outfits. But anyway, there was a court case, Supreme Court case, um, Supreme Court case that I got to get.
Gosh, talking about bondage style outfits.
Yes, and it also had the court case where it was approved by the Supreme Court in that photo also. Um yes,
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to pull. Let me pull this up right quick. I should have
What?
already had this up. Huh?
Oh my goodness. With a
Yes.
teddy bear and everything.
Yes, with the teddy bear in the bondage. But then if you look down at the bottom of the photo, you'll see the court case where the a copy of the court case where the Supreme Court had, ruled that there would,
Their
as
favor.
far as online, you could not. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this up in a second.
Oh my goodness, Lord Jesus. And the
Yes,
one
honey, it's
photo,
been
and in the one photo, it got the little girl standing there, and you can tell
right,
it's witchcraft. It got dragons on the wall. It got like moon and stars hanging from her bed, and all this. And the teddy bear is like in the bondage, and it got chains.
right. They are glorifying it. Now they're talking about they're going to
Jesus.
investigate. But see, let me tell you something. A ad campaign like that does not just get released. You hear me?
It has to
It
go.
got to go. It has to go through lot of layers when you talk about
Mm, mm, mm.
then they immediately pulled down the ad when people really started an outcry with this. They
Yeah.
released the state. Then Kim Kardashian come out talking about she is she is going to give them an opportunity to. She talked to them.
Mhm.
She talked to them. Now remember, she's a mother with 4 children.
Yes.
Okay. How are you a mother with 4 children and you still want to get you a bag?
From Balenciaga.
Um, right. I'm gonna pull this up. Now, what they did was, let me pull up their latest statement that they put on stream. It's sort of long, but
Jesus. I know they pulled the ass.
right, they pulled the ad. And you see the comments are off. This is they just posted this
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not a lot of.
Oh,
They
wait a minute. Let
took
me.
a lot off because I'm looking.
Right. Yeah, they because they know that people ain't not having it.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh Lord. Okay, so let me read their statement. We would like to address the controversies surrounding our recent ad campaigns. We strongly condemn child abuse. Well, you know,
What they got to do with child abuse?
well, they're trying not to use the word.
Got you.
Okay. It was never our intent to include it in our narrative. The two separate ad campaigns in question reflect a series of grievous errors for which Balenciaga takes responsibility. Well, you got to take responsibility because there's a chain of command. Ad campaigns are not just released. Somebody don't go into the studio and just take photos
Right.
and then they release ad campaigns. No, ma'am. It has to be planned. You know, you hire the actors, you hire the people, you write the
Right.
script, you know what's in there. Then it has to be approved by others higher up the chain of command, even before you take one picture. You
Right.
understand?
Right.
So it's already been approved one time. Then after they complete the whole program, the campaign, then you have to take it back for it to go up the chain again
Right.
of that company for that ad to be approved. So you can't blame the photographer. I mean, you can, but they're going to try to push it off on some lower employee or another
Yeah.
company. But
Somebody
their
low.
company, the photographer cannot approve an ad campaign for a company. Okay, so let me finish reading. Let me read the next paragraph that they put here. It says the first campaign, the gift collection campaign, featured children with a plush bear dressed in what some have labeled BDSM inspired outfits. Okay, really? Somebody labeled it as some has labeled. See, they say they take responsibility, but they're putting it off on everybody else.
Other
When you
people.
see
Yeah.
a child in a harness with a teddy bear, this
Mm.
is what it is. Okay, that's not somebody labeling it. But let me go
My
on.
father. Mm-mm-mm.
Our plush bear bags and gift collection should not have been featured with children. Well, okay, well, if they plush bags, you're targeting children. Well, you should have known that
Yeah.
when
What
they
grown
came to you
person?
with a
A teddy bear.
proposal to
Right.
even do the ad campaign.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This was a wrong choice by beyond, okay, so you know that it's a wrong choice, but you just said that it shouldn't have been featured. This is a lot of, spinning
Yeah.
of words. Okay. Combined with our failure in assessing and validating images, the responsibility for this lies with us alone. Well, yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
right.
Thank
It
you.
does, because it had to go up the chain of command. That ad campaign had to be approved before anything even started moving.
Correct.
You have a room full of people that discuss the ad campaign, as far as what's going to be shot. What do you think? Who are we targeting? There's a whole process. There's demographics that's done before. I mean, all of this is done before you even shoot one photo. So there was a lot in this,
A
okay,
lot.
that goes on behind. Some people just think they see a billboard. There's a lot, or see an ad campaign. There's a lot that goes into that prior to even anything being shown. So then they continue. The second separate campaign for the spring 2023, which was meant to replicate a business office environment, included a photo with a page in the background from the Supreme Court ruling, the United States versus Williams in 2008, which confirms as illegal and not protected by freedom of speech the promotion of child P. See, that's what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying. They knew what they were doing. They knew
Mm.
what they were doing because of the Supreme Court case. They even had the court case in the photo. See, this is planned. In the photo where the
Mm.
Supreme Court ruled that this was not child, not child P. So that, this is a calculated plan. I'm gonna put their Instagram link to this in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it goes on. All the items included in the shooting were provided by a third party that confirmed in writing that these props were fake office documents. Oh, give me a break.
Are you
They
serious?
could be fake, but you got the name of the Supreme Court case right there. You knew
Mercy.
what you were doing. Ain't nobody buying this. Ain't nobody buying this. Just come clean. And no, but like I said, these people, these Hollywood people with children, whether you have children or not, they are not coming forward and saying anything. So let me continue with this. They turned out to be the real legal papers, most likely coming from the filming of the television drama, of a television drama. No, you don't go. How do you go?
How?
How do you go to the no? Only thing you did was download or get the court documents. That's not that you don't go to a television show to get the Supreme Court ruling regarding free speech is not illegal and not protected by free speech, the promotion of child P. You see what I'm saying? What they were doing was promoting child P. They knew what they were doing. They put the court case there to let you know we know what we're doing. We don't care what you think because the Supreme Court said it's not illegal.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right. Let me finish with this. I'm just saying. Oh my God, this statement is just okay. So they turned out to be real legal papers. Oh, yeah, I read that. The inclusion of these unapproved documents was the result of reckless negligence for which we have filed a complaint. No, baby. No. Because even if you didn't know about it at the beginning, which I don't believe, because like I said, I know the process for an ad campaign and it's deep. Once everything is shot, those photos, because you got to pick the right pictures that you want to use in the campaign. The third party can't choose that. They can send some to you to look at, but your chain of command are the ones that looked at those photos and approved it and signed off on it and wrote them that check. And I bet you that third party has already been paid. Okay, they paid them, which means that they have endorsed and said, we are approve of this, we're satisfied with your services, here is your check. Okay. Okay, so let me go on. We take full accountability for the lack of oversight. Oh my gosh, why would you have lack of oversight? Because the first thing that would have stuck out to me is if you got children in a picture, why would you have a Supreme Court case in the same picture? The legal documents in the same picture.
That part.
How do you overlook that? I would have investigated then. Period. Okay. And the control of the documents in the background. And we could have done things differently. You bet your bottom dollar. You bet your bottom dollar. Okay. Yeah. While internal and external investigations are ongoing. Oh, so you're going to investigate yourself. Okay. You're going to investigate yourself. That's what they're saying. Okay. We are taking the following actions. 1, we are closely revising our organization and collective ways of working. In other words, nothing. That we're organizing and revising our collective way of working. That says nothing.
Yeah, because we don't know how you work anyway.
But okay. Yeah. We are reinforcing the structures around our creative processes and validation steps. We want to ensure that new controls mark a pivot and will prevent this from happening again. Again, nothing. Number 3, we are laying the groundwork with organizations who specialize in child protection and aims at ending child abuse and exploitation. Okay. Again, nothing.
If you are doing that, we don't know.
Right. We want to learn from our mistakes and identify ways we can contribute. We reiterate its sincere apologies for offenses we have caused, and extend its apologies to talents and partners. Oh, please. And the only reason they did that last part, to talent and partners, is because these actors, Kim Kardashian and the rest of a bunch of other actors, are receiving smoke from the
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Kidman. They
Mm-hmm.
receiving smoke because they are out here. They haven't condemned these people. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need a list now. Okay, Kyrie Irving shared a link.
Come on. Come on.
He shared a link. But
Yes.
you all created a whole ad campaign. I'm gonna need some cancellation going on here.
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
need to cancel some culture here.
We need some cancellation going on here because
We
everybody,
do.
regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, you
Mm-hmm.
have children in your family, or if you're not a parent, you got children.
That's
And
right.
if they promoted knowingly this, they need to be counseled.
That's it.
We need a 7-step and
Program.
where's the check? Where's the check that needs to be sent to that? They're talking about we're gonna meet with them. No, they need a check to combat child P in this country.
That part.
Okay. These organizations write a check. Then we need to sit back down and meet with you. We
Yes.
need you to
Come
have some
on.
sensitivity training. Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need some sensitivity training on you, not just you. I'm talking about your whole
Oh,
team,
company.
the
Yes.
whole company. We need some accountability here.
That part. That part.
I
That should
like I
normalize
said, this selective counseling, this is somebody that needs to be counseled.
for
This
sure.
this and like I said, these Nicole Kidman, Kim Kardashian, all of them, they're not speaking out because they don't want to mess up their bag. They're getting a
Yeah.
check, or they know what they're doing. They know
Yeah.
what these people are doing. You all got children. I don't have children. And that's why it's so important. I'll be sharing stuff on social media from time to time for parents. There's a lot of these that's going on that people are exposing your children to. You need to watch your children because it's just so much stuff.
It is. It's too much access. Yeah. I can relate to that. I understand.
And yeah, and like I said, for them to put that court case out there in that photo of the United States
They
versus
tried.
Williams case in 2008,
They
which
tried.
confirms as illegal and not protected by free speech the promotion of child P.
They tried it.
Okay, they knew what they were doing. They tried it. They tried it. And when the smoke came from, again, if it wasn't for social media and the on the ground warriors putting that out there, that ad
Period.
campaign would still be out there. It would
To
still be out
It
there.
would be. It would be. Yeah. And one thing about America, we got some praying people out here.
Right,
We got some saints on the wall that's watching,
right,
that have given God access to this realm to be able to combat the wiles of the enemy. That's what the scripture
right.
says. But it has to be.
And
And
that's why it's important for parents to, like, I tell anybody, because if you got kids, if you can afford to homeschool your children, because this stuff out here, there's enough stuff out here. But if
I,
you can't, and it's amazing. Remember when I did the show, and I think it was with you or someone else, and I offered scholarships for Save News to pay for someone that wanted the curriculum, another company, so they could homeschool their kids. Nobody's sending the thing.
I wish that would
Nobody.
have
So
been me.
Save News will go
I
pay.
wish that would have been me.
Look. Oh, you're not eligible. You part of Save News. But I'm
Oh,
talking about for someone that was able. I was giving away 5 scholarships.
wow. When you gonna bring that back?
I don't know. I have to seek
Because
the
that,
Lord.
I mean, and
But
even
we were giving
still,
away, 5 scholarships for the curriculum for homeschooling for children. And try to find the link and put it up here to the program that it was at. I got to remember which one it was, but it's been about 6 months ago, six,
Wow.
8 months ago.
Another thing that we need to do with our children, which I work outside the home, I travel for work, I have a teenager at home. Um, all of his technology is very much guarded by parental control.
Yes,
Everything that he does, I know.
right,
I was somewhere yesterday and something popped up on my phone, and I called him immediately and said, "What's that?" So it doesn't matter any time of the day or night. And because I work nights, I control at night.
right,
So I could be in Timbuktu. I call my husband and say, "Go see if he on his phone in there."
right,
Like, so even though our kids have technology, and in some cases they need technology, there are all kinds of device or social media. I mean, parental control measures that you can place on them. They don't like it, but it's
right.
okay. Thank me
But
later.
then you can't control what other parents allow their children. They could be standing beside somebody and they're like, look at this right here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I when he goes to places, I control that too because I call the parent. Like it's a
Right.
lot.
But I'm saying their parents might not be as dedicated. So you
Yeah,
definitely have to, instill in your child, like it's the way you train them up. But, you
you do.
can't protect them from everything you want to. But as much as you can, you should, because like I said, this stuff out here is wild.
It
And
is.
they Balenciaga needs to be counseled. There is no ifs, no ands, no
No
buts about
buts.
it. There's no discussion. I don't care how many investigations that they do, because
Nothing.
they're only investigating themselves. I don't care how many apologies they send out. They need to be counseled.
You're
And if
right.
any parent out here buys, buys anything from this kind, I would never, but number one, I don't spend my money on foolishness like that, because I'm not worried about no name brand stuff. I buy what I like. But I
Yeah,
tell you what, if you need to definitely, if you haven't before, um, if you haven't before, definitely, um, put in, don't be buying from them. They
that's
need to
right.
be counseled.
They need to be
But
canceled.
anyway, everybody, look, we had so much stuff to cover today. We've covered so many things. And Carmina has to go to work. Praise God. She's
Praise
getting
God.
employed. She got a call. She got a job. She got to go to the job. But I wanted to, we wanted to bring you all these stories and everything. The information that we shared out is in the chat, so you can definitely see the articles that we shared. I shared the Instagram and the different articles. Is there anything you want to say before you need to wrap up,
No,
before I wrap up?
I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to be on Save News platform to be able to speak about things. I'm just grateful because I know that this platform would allow the information to go further than just our local, you know, spaces that
Right.
we occupy. And so I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to say what it is that needs to be said from my voice, and to hear AZ's perspective. So just be woke, stay woke, stay woke. Be
Yes.
always watching. Be always watching.
Always watching. And like I said, you can make sure you follow, if you have Roku or Amazon Fire TV, make sure you subscribe to Save News TV on there, because sometimes these platforms will take down the videos, and it's their platform. They can do what they want to, just like on my platform, Save News TV, on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. If I don't want your stuff up there, I'm not going to put it up there. Okay,
That
so
part.
I understand that. But remember to like, share, subscribe, share this video out, everybody. We got to get this stuff out to everyone. And we thank you all so much for joining in and
Yeah.
allowing us into your homes, because you did not have to. And I pray you all have a very blessed day. Goodbye.
I now.